So I switched to English now. My name is Amer Katic. I am founder and CEO of YoLean. YoLean is we're located in Sweden, in Gothenburg. And we are a spin-off from academic research in lean management. And I myself did research with focus on knowledge management within lean. So that's where I got my PhD here at Chalmers University in Gothenburg. So far, YoLean has been used in over 500 projects in Sweden and in German-speaking countries, mostly Germany. And we develop and market a visual planning tool for construction projects that are both in the design phase. So in Sweden, we call it Fråga Svar. I think you have a similar name in Norwegian for it. So it's Fråga Svar with some Scrum Lean kind of philosophy behind it. And the construction phase, of course, where we focus on a combination of TACT and the last planner, which we will look at. I will today focus mostly on the construction phase, but I will say a few words about the design phase as well. So when we come to construction or the construction phase, we have our keyword here is to execute any plan with last planner control in any team. And any plan means you could create it yourself using TACT logic, pull planning, or import a Gantt from any of the commercial tools. And then you go into last planner philosophy to refine and execute your plan with that logic. And when we say any team, we mean any team in terms of maturity. So we have 3 different levels you can choose from depending on the complexity and the project team maturity in the methodology and the tool. So basically what we try to do here is to close the gap between main time planning and the everyday business. And we do that by having support for your teams to plan and commit to planning, disseminate the plan in different ways, report and evaluate how it's going. And here, depending on maturity, it could be daily, it could be weekly, or it could be not at all, as we will see as well. And then based on the outcomes, based on what the status is today or this week, then you can adjust and approve according to, again, the learning philosophy of last planner. So when you start a project in YoLean Construction, there is a first step. There is configuring the project. I will just mention what you can do here. I won't show so much today. But you can do it manually. You can do it based on a previous project if you have some settings and some configuration. Or if your company has a template, which we have some customers, then you can start from a template. Of course, then you have to create a plan. And again, you can use pull planning, TACT planning, or by importing from MS Project, P6, or Power Project, or these type of tools. And the main focus for today will be to execute the plan. So control the plan using different control models, depending on maturity of your method and IT team. So just a few words of how you can create the plan. You can do it by pull planning. So basically, you create a milestone and then you pull backwards from that. Due to time limitation, I will not demo so much about the creation here. It's pretty intuitive, but I chose to not prioritize that today. When it comes to TACT planning basically for us means that you already have a TACT process. You can either have mathematically optimized it in some other tool, and then you want to in Lean and then use last planner or you can do collaborative planning around your process, then convert it into a process and then execute it as a TACT with last planner. Or of course you can do a time plan import, as I said. We use the project XML standard, so it's supported by most commercial time planning tools. And we have a wizard that takes you from your time plan to your YoLean plan so that things match up in a good way. Once you have started executing in YoLean, you can also do an export back to your tool And the XML standard is going to keep, or we are going to keep all the traceability so that the tools talk to each other and the right tasks get marked as completed or moved and so on. Again, this I won't demo either because time constraints, but it's possible, and I definitely would like to show you if you're interested in a more longer demo. So just a few words about these three control models that I talked about. So we call it, the first one we call basic planning. This is where you use YoLean to plan and disseminate the plan, but you don't commit to it. And when you don't commit to the plan, you don't have any data of what has been accepted, what is the team committed to. It of course brings lower value because then when you want to follow up the status, you can only
Amer, jeg tror lyden din forsvant. Your sound.
Sorry about that.
10 seconds or so.
10 seconds. So I was saying that this mode, this model, basic planning, is suitable for projects where you have low intensity, where you can follow up weekly, basically, or even less frequently, and it's fine. Low complexity, there are not too many locations and zones to follow up, so it's fine. And definitely, if your team does not have high maturity, then it's easier to communicate that you plan, you disseminate, and then we discuss and move stuff around, but we don't follow up. The other next level is status sync. Here, basically, we start committing to the plan, which means we have some baseline data to say afterwards when we evaluate status, what was the root cause to some delays, or if there were no delays, it's going fine, and so on. So this is a higher level maturity. So you will use both method and tool in a more mature way. We have developed some functionality to help you manage complexity in your project. So if there are many tasks, basically. And status sync is still for low intensity, meaning it's okay to follow up once weekly. You won't, nothing will run out of control in 1 week. So you can do this status sync. And the highest level is collaborative pulse, as we call it. And here, the collaborative part is coming from that people can use mobile devices to report. So you can collaboratively report and evaluate the status, and you still get the commit. So you get the full data circle, and you can do this more frequently. So high intensity projects where you must know how it's going all the way down, maybe on a daily level. And you might have high complexity in the sense that there are many zones, many tasks to follow up, and you might have a little time to do it. And this requires, on the other hand, that both the maturity and the tool or the method maturity is high. I will briefly just demo a little bit on what we mean with these three. So if we start with basic planning, I have prepared a board here. And basic planning means that we have a visual plan. It could be tagged processes like I have here, or it could be a collaborative process that we have created in the last row here. And the difference between these is that if I have a tagged process, I can have a process template. So here I have some small apartments, big apartments in different zones on different floors, C1, C2, and the zones are Y and Z. And the fact that it's a tagged process means I can move stuff as a train. And I can also introduce gaps inside a location. So if I need, on this particular process instance, I need to add a gap, I can do that. Or if I want to add a task here, like so, give ventilation a new task here, and then just extend, I will do it only in this location. If, however, I want to change the whole template, let's say I learned something about my big apartment process, and I want to introduce something to all of the locations, I go into the process template, big apartment here, And then I open up this tool where I manage the template itself. So let's say I want to introduce a gap between task 3 and 4. I do that and all of the instances move. Or if I add a new task here, give it to doors again and extend, then everything moves along. So in here, I can work collaboratively. If you have a pull planning session, you can do it in a sort of thing that will be a tact process as well, and the tool will help you see immediately what's going on if you make something crazy, like you move something too much and you see that maybe you're overloaded in some zones. Okay, very quick demo of the process and the logic here. So basic planning means, so we're not committing to anything. As we move stuff around, we don't get questions about, what's the cause of this delay and so on, because we are not committing to anything. There is no baseline. For this last process here, which I have at the moment just as a pile of tasks, they're not connected to each other. If I want to turn them into a process, I can do it, create a process out of it. See, I need to move on there. Yeah. So, and I can create it as a repeatable process like the ones I just showed, or just a single process that is unique to this location. So now I have a work zone X on C4 and it behaves as a process. Okay, so what do we mean with disseminate? Let's say we are fine with this kind of chaotic plan. We can go into prints mode. And prints mode is a way to get out a PDF. And PDF you can configure here if you want thinner tasks, thicker tasks, and if you want different paper sizes. So this is one way to disseminate. Because if you are in a team that has low maturity, method and tool-wise, PDFs might be the way to communicate on site. So that's why we have created this prints mode. Of course, everybody can go into board mode and see it in the board directly if they are okay with that. So those are two main ways you disseminate planning once you're done in this basic planning. And of course, once we meet again, so to speak, and we replan, we just drag and drop and again send PDF print. So that's basically basic planning. The next level is status sync, and status sync means that we have a weekly look ahead at least. And it means that we do something called plan and commit. So once we are fine with planning, we also say that we will commit to this plan. We call it to create a vertical line of commitment. And you do it from checkpoint to checkpoint. Checkpoints are these weekly look ahead. So when you're at this checkpoint, you commit to the next checkpoint. And then you're getting some baseline data that you can later evaluate. So then when you come back to the weekly look ahead, you can also establish what we call a vertical line of statuses. And if you do this manually task by task, it's a cumbersome task. It's very good communication, but your meetings will take a lot of time. So for this, we have some quick ways to do it. So if I go back to my board, I will just switch. I have a different set of locations. So what we see here is we are on a Friday today. It's checkpoint day for us, and we can look backwards here. And as soon as you commit, you get these dots so that you can evaluate single days on a specific task. But as we said, status sync is not for daily follow-up; it's for weekly follow-up, and we are fine with this lower intensity pulse. Let's say. So we have something called an evaluation guide that will help you first evaluate everything that is behind you on the previous from the previous checkpoint. So let's say before I evaluate here, I say that some tasks here, let's say we take this one here, we say this task we could not work, or actually, yeah, we could not work. And it will ask me for some root causes. Maybe I have some material problems. I confirm. So now this task, because I reported it before we evaluate, I reported it manually as not on track, it will be excluded. So if I do evaluation here, evaluation suggests that everything is on time. That is why I need to exclude tasks from being not on time before I do this. And you know, if you're following the methodology and you're doing everything, most of your tasks will actually be on time. There will be very few things that are delayed, so you can do that manually. So if I'm fine, everybody can say that, yes, this represents the true picture up to yesterday. I can take confirm here. And now I can focus on this, this task here to do some replanning. Maybe I need to extend. And then because I extended, I need to move everything else. And then now I say, well, are we fine up to the next checkpoint, which is on Friday next week? Somebody says, yes, now it's okay. We mark this replanning as done. And now we can use this quick button to commit to everything. So we don't have to do it task by task. So commit up to next checkpoint, all of the tasks get these dots, and we are ready to go. And collaborative pulse adds on to this logic by also giving the team the mobility to report, or the ability to report with mobile view. So you can do it daily, you can do it not daily. This is up to the cadence, the tact of the project, or the pulse of the project, I should say. But if you report status, then it's shown slightly differently to indicate that a report does not mean that it is evaluated as such. It's just what the field says, what they think about the task.
2 minutes.
Yeah, so to illustrate here, I will just very, very quickly show the other board. So here I have some tasks again. They have been evaluated up to Wednesday. On Thursday, I want to say, so I'm doing it from my phone here, and you will see some things pop up as I do. Let's say I had one problem and one. So here I have these, and again, if I go in here, I can evaluate, quick evaluate others that have not been reported with mobile. I can evaluate from journal here, can confirm that these tasks, I accept their report, and I can evaluate the rest with OK. So I get, again, a vertical line of statuses. OK, so I'm a bit short on time. Things you can configure are locations, checkpoints, holidays on the calendar, connecting people to teams and trades to teams, and so on. Different node types, you can categorize your tasks. You can add stuff like these health and safety tags, for example, and you can configure the root causes that we just looked at. And finally, just to say that we do have KPIs and data. I won't be able to demo them. We present them in different ways, so the platform is very data rich. And with that, I won't have any time to look into the design, maybe, other than to say that it's to manage questions and issues where you identify the issues that you need, the solutions you need, input you need. So different disciplines tell each other with this fråga-svar methodology. Then you can use YoLean to delegate who takes which issue, resolves it. We have a support for the workflow around that, and of how you sort of report back that you are done. You want to make a decision and you mark a decision clearly, so that goes into the decision log. And all of the work you can also document automatically by using something called automatic meeting protocol. So we have a special note for that, note type.
Okay, and we need to move on to the next, Amer.
Okay.
So, sorry for cutting you off. And as I said in the beginning, it's hard in 20 minutes to give a deep dive. But I hope people saw enough from YoLean that this piqued an interest.
I hope so. And final comment is you can do design and construction in parallel. So you can do it on the same timeline, in the same board, so to speak. Okay, so, thanks.
På norska, her kan man gjøre både projektering og bygging. Det er viktig poeng.
Ja, precis.
Okay, so sorry for having to be a little bit brutal, but since we are on a tight schedule, we unfortunately have to move on. Thank you, Amer, for a great presentation. And now we will continue in the English vein with Noah from Touchplan.